Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt of Post April 6th YouTube channel. Well, it has been about 15 days since I resigned from my job at the grocery store. And I've done quite a bit in the last 15 days. I have posted, in fact, let me go do a count really quick and then I'll be back. I have posted 28 postcards and put them up on my eBay store. The other thing that I have done is I have sent a letter of additional recommendation to District Attorney Gascon of Los Angeles, LA District Attorney's Office, because what he has done, most of you know this, but I'm going to say it anyways in case you haven't been paying attention to it. He has recommended resentencing for Lyle and Erik Menendez because he personally feels they have served enough time and that that there is credibility, definitely honest and valuable evidence that is certifiable evidence that Lyle and Erik Menendez was molested by their father, Jose. I'm sorry. Even though it is wrong that they murdered them, it's understandable why they would have those feelings. And what Jose did was awful. You are the lowest of lowlives. I wouldn't want to be you for even having over $100 billion to my name, you sick son of a bitch. I wouldn't want to be you, Jose. No, your kids aren't the sick sons of bitches. You are. You, Jose Menendez. I'm glad you're deceased, because believe me, you come knocking on my door in my house, I'm calling the police. Got it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I got so full of vengeance and got so uptight, but what that guy did to those kids was really sick. But anyways, the other thing that I have done is I have written a polite recommendation to Governor Gavin Newsom, recommending that he approve the order, because from what I understand after hearing two different press conferences about the Menendez brothers and them being resentenced, there's going how it's going to work according to this type of judicial orders or protocol. The district attorney has filed the motion and has submitted it that they be resentenced to parole and be released from prison. And the other thing that will happen next is a judge will decide whether they should be released and placed on parole, or whether they should stay in prison for the rest of their lives, or however long the judge so decides that they should be imprisoned. Meaning Lyle and Erik Menendez remain in prison if it goes either way. I personally think that it is not likely that the judge will rule that they stay imprisoned. I think there's a very good possibility he's going to be paroled. They're going to be paroled, but maybe I'm wrong. And the other thing that will happen after that, what I've heard is Governor Gavin Newsom's, the incumbent governor. You know, regardless of whether you like him or not. I mean, these are rights that a incumbent governor has, whether you like him or not, and that is that he would have to sign the approval that they be released. At least that's what I've been hearing. Now maybe that's not the way things are, but that's what I've heard from two different press conferences. One was a press conference at the District Attorney's office, and the other one was a press conference held by a lawyer, defense attorney, Mark Geragos. And here is something else I'd like to discuss that is totally away from the Menendez Brothers. Let's forget about them. When Scott Peterson, the man who allegedly murdered his wife, Laci Peterson, and their unborn son, which would to be named Connor, which was a baby boy. I was convinced he did it. I don't think he did it anymore. Did he commit adultery with the Amber Frey or the Amber Fry lady? Yes, he did. But did he commit the murder? No. I don't think he did it. I think he actually, truthfully, as he said, went to go fishing, and I think it's either San Francisco Bay or Berkeley Bay on Christmas, December 23rd or December 24th of 2022. In fact, that was so long ago, that was over 20 years ago by now. But did he commit the murder? No. Now, the people who did the murder, I personally think it was very seriously mentally ill, devil worshipping type. If they didn't outright worship Satan the devil, they thought like a devil worshiper through and through. Committed the murders. They did a robbery on Laci Peterson, and they kidnapped her, and then a few hours later they killed her, or 2 or 3 days later they killed her. If those people were caught, I can tell you this much: they'd probably be placed in solitary confinement in California State Prison for the well, I want to say criminally insane, but the criminally convicted criminals. Criminally insane would be a mental would be a prison that would be more like a mental institution. And I don't really think anymore that Scott Peterson did it. I think it was set up. I think I believe it was Detective Al Bracchini or Bracchini. He was an Italian, or of Italian ancestry, of Modesto police. I think he had a rush to judgment, and there were things that Scott Peterson was up to. You know, the adultery and him looking at pornography through cable. You know, the spice or whatever it was that was sex scenes that was at least NC-17 or more graphic. But did he? But did Scott Peterson do it? Nope. I think he was framed. And what I think happened was that the killers did this. The killers knew that he went to the location where he actually did the fishing and rented a boat, or paid the money to get in with his own boat. Actually, I think that's what it was. Come to think of it. He didn't rent a boat. I stand corrected on that one after thinking about it. I think what they did is late at night, when nobody was around, and they did this very carefully. They didn't go from the dock and go out that way. They came from another direction, and when nobody was around, they dumped the body at a certain place. They went they did what's called from the far outside going in instead of from the inside going out. Or, here, let me do it better. Gesture with my finger. They went from the outside going in instead of from the inside going out. Yep. They didn't go through that marina and go out with a boat and dump the body. Nope, they came in from somewhere else far away. Well, at least far away that it was at least 4 or 5 miles away, and they made sure to not have rev their motor up too much, and they made as little noise as possible. In fact, they might have even canoed in like this, with a boat with no motor. Yeah, that's highly possible, because that would bring the least amount of noise. I have to go take care of something here really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I had to pause to take my 6 different prescription medications, and which ones those are, I really don't feel it'd be a pretty bad idea if I discussed this on a YouTube channel, because I could be heavily reprimanded by YouTube for that, and I can't have that going on. But anyways, back to the situation with Scott Peterson. Peters or Peterson. He referring to Scott. What has taken effect in his favor lately, in the last few months, is he had a special hearing, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to do resentencing, because it's already been he went from being on the death penalty to life without life sentence in prisons. He already got that reduced, and now it's being reduced even further, where there's a good possibility he's going to get acquitted and exonerated. And I think he should be exonerated, because he did some suspicious things, but he didn't murder his wife. I mean, even though he wanted to be with other women, he wouldn't want to murder his wife and not have an unborn child. No. Even the craziest men wouldn't want to do that. But the craziest of the crazy, yeah, they do, because they don't care. They're really sick in the head. They don't fear God. They don't worship God. The devil owns them 110%, and they become the most evil people in the world. Yep, that's true. And let me pause for a little bit, and I'm going to look some things up so I can say some more interesting things about what I've been involved in the last 15 days. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back now, and I looked through my personal expense report, because see, I keep one due to the fact that I've been receiving SSDI for over 9 years by now. I keep it there because I'm a little worried that one of these days I'm going to get audited by the IRS. So here's what happened between October 10th and October 20th. On October 10th, I donated $1 each to 9 different charities. One of them was the American Indian College Fund. That was $1 that went to them, and then some other food pantry-like charities. On October 11th, I went to Edwards Tobacco Shop, and I bought something I mentioned over 10 times in at least 10 different videos. Maple walnut pipe tobacco. Yep. And I got a Cuban Rounds Dark Maduro cigar. I mean, that one's got a lot of flavor, and it's a little strong, but it's worth it. On October 13th, I bought a frosted shower curtain and a 12-inch Tefal skillet. Because the reason why I bought these two items were these. I mean, not that any of you care, but if any of you are curious, I'll tell you just to tell you. The clear shower curtain that I had it for over 6 months, and it had a ton of soap scum towards the bottom of it, and it was an eyesore for me to look at. So I bought the new one, and this one's better. This one doesn't show the soap scum quite as much. And the Tefal skillet I bought because the one I had before was a 10-inch skillet, and it had a ton of like black burn marks on it. Not because I burned something, because I used it so much to cook. And part of the sealant, that lining in there was starting to crack, and I was like, oh, this thing's got to go. And the handle was coming, I had to keep tightening it because it get loose and make this. As soon as you're just picking it up lightly, it would do that. It does like that. It's getting really tired of it. So as soon as I got home, I took the 10-inch skillet out of the sink and I threw it in the dumpster. I was like, let it be thrown away. And if some homeless dumpster diver wants to have it, take it. But know this, if you're going to do some cooking on whatever device you're going to use to cook it, or fire that you're going to make out in the middle of nowhere, it ain't going to cook. Really ain't going to cook all that well. But do they care? Probably not. Okay, on the 18th, after I had a cigar at Cigars on 6th, I went over to, and I had an umbrella over my head, because 2 videos before this particular one, there was a video about it, and I filmed walking on East First Avenue from Lincoln to Downing. Yep. And on October 20th, after I ate at Rosebud, I asked them to film in there, and the lady says no. You can take a couple of pictures, still pictures, but that's it, and that's all I did. So when I was done eating, I went from Pennsylvania and First, and I walked south this way. Not this way. That's east-west. This way. South. And I filmed from 10 blocks from First Avenue all the way over to East Kentucky. Because East Kentucky is South Pennsylvania instead of North Pennsylvania Street. And the day before yesterday, can you see it? I had my teeth cleaned by a dentist. Yep. She really went. And she would use, it's like a dental pick, but it's machinized. She called it something like a ultrasonic. It does, some areas are really caked up back here. Sorry. I know it sounds so funny when I put my finger in my mouth and start to talk. And then she got out the polisher and went and cleaned the top teeth and the bottom teeth. And then I came home, and even though I had to use mouthwash a couple of times to get that dental chemistry out of my mouth. I had a good time. And yesterday I did a telehealth appointment with my sleep care specialist, or pulmonary sleep care specialist. It was an assistant to the main man. His name is David. Well, I better not say his last name. It starts with the letter S. He's a really nice Jewish man. And his assistant Carrie. We had a telehealth appointment, and then afterwards I got called back by another person that works there, and we did. She walked me through how to do it on the Sleep Well Center app to do the questionnaire that is required, and then. I took a nap for a little bit at one point, and then I started writing a lot of letters. I mean, a lot. One to the District Attorney, like I've already discussed. The other one to Governor Newsom, and I wrote one to a coworker who I used to work with. She's a very nice lady. I sent her a nice birthday card. A coworker that worked when I worked at Tamarack Square started work. Yeah, she lives in the further southwest part of the state of Colorado. She is, probably at least 100 miles away from here, in Florence, Colorado. And today, I cooked my breakfast from start to finish, and I watched a few clips from a guy who I really like, who's on YouTube. It's Jordan with Days of Jordan the Lion. And then I thought, well, before I take a shower, because you can tell I need to take a shower, you can see all that stuff on my face, that I would do this YouTube vlog. So, I'm going to take a shower, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk about something else. I'm back now, and well, I thought I would do a little bit of camera experiments before I started the other half of my vlog. Well, here is one thing that is going to happen in the near future for me, not political events or news gossip. For me, on October 28th at 12:30 p.m., I have an appointment at America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses for a free eye exam, because these glasses, I like wearing them, but I'm really tired of looking at them. And I'm going to get an eye exam for some contact lenses, because it's time for a change, and it's time for me to start wearing sunglasses, because my eyes, as I'm getting older, are getting more and more sensitive. Why don't I display the postcards I put up on eBay? That's Israel. That is Jerusalem, Israel. That is Mexico. What I just displayed, I'm pretty sure that is France. This is Germany. Look. Now this is over 100 years old, it's France. And here is one of the first color photographs of the Big Ben, England, London, England. And that's Whitehall, London, England. That is, ooh, geez. That's Oxford, England. That is a lady trying to get in a certain way to take a nap in Mexico. That might be Belgium, but I'm not exactly sure where that is. That is the Strand and Charing Cross. I think Sherlock Holmes, or excuse me, writer Sir Conan Doyle. Sir Conan Doyle started basing Sherlock Holmes on that guy. That's Scotland. That's Prague, Hungary. Or no. That might not be Hungary. Budapest is Hungary, but Prague I think is somewhere else. And that is Paris. Paris. Before I end the vlog, why don't I talk about this concerning my eBay store. What I think I'm going to be doing next is there has been over a dozen LPs that are on my eBay store right now, and they're going nowhere. So am I going to take them off? No. Well, what I am going to do is I'm going to take them down and then relist them as an auction and put the bid of $1 each on each one of them, because it's time for them to go. They're not being played. It's a lot of good classic rock, and some of it is stuff that most people never even heard of. And it's time. it's time for me to do something about it to get him going. It's time for him to go bye-bye. So I think that's what I'm going to get started on doing pretty soon here later on today. Well, thank you everybody for listening to my vlog. And before I end the vlog, there's one other piece of information I'd like to discuss that is quite sad. I just found out about it. Phil Lesh, the bass player and the founder of the Grateful Dead, has just passed away. He was 84 years old. I do not know yet what his cause of death was, but he was getting pretty old. He was 84 years old, and it was just his time to go. And the man sure lived a long, fruitful life. Well, thank you everybody, and have a good day.